Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today, guys, I got another Ballast watch I want to share with you. And this video is going to be not just a review video, but also a little bit of a kind of a rebuttal video to another watch influencer watch review channel that did a review of this a few weeks ago. And in my opinion, again, just a nonsense review. And this is where a lot of the problem lies in the watch community with YouTube, right? And of course, a lot of forums. You know, people are always going to say what they want to say. And remember that when we review watches, when we own watches, when we talk about watches, and this is to be said with anything, really, any product whatsoever, that it is subjective as far as our opinions of watches. There are objective things we talk about, like what is it made out of, what kind of movement is in there, you know, what is the, I guess, the longevity that maybe we can find online as far as any kind of problems that are documented. Remember, objective reviews are really just stating the facts. And again, when I do a review, there is some subjective parts of my reviews because a lot of it is a matter of opinion when I review a watch, and that's to be said with anybody. So remember, when we hear these watch experts on YouTube, you know, talk about watches and what's good and what isn't, a lot of what they're saying is just really coming from opinion. It really has nothing to do with the real facts. So I reached out to Ballast. I've been working with Ballast for a while now. If you're not familiar with Ballast, they're a brand underneath Dartmouth Brands, and there are about, I think, 6 or 7 different companies under that main label. Ballast is one of them. Nubeo is another fantastic brand. And of course, RGMT, one of the ones I'm wearing right now. If you haven't checked out my videos that I've done on RGMT and Nubeo, I would definitely check it out, and then check out the other Ballast watches as well. So Ballast is kind of a nautical themed, a more of a military, naval themed watch company. I've been a fan of Ballast for many, many years. And, you know, I'm really fortunate that I have this ability to get a lot more watches from them and share them with you guys. And I think it's really smart on Dartmouth Brands, on their part of it, you know, because reaching out to influencers who are like myself, like-minded, people who are just really real world and have common sense is what gives these brands, I guess, a real fighting chance to be able to survive, right? A lot of guys on YouTube in the watch community really get to a point where they become watch snobs, you know, and they really make their reviews about facts when they're really just about opinions. There's nothing wrong with not liking Ballast watches or Invicta or Aragon or Bulova or Rolex, whatever brand, you know, however you may feel about a brand, that's totally okay. But what's not okay is kind of, I guess, planting seeds in your reviews that will dissuade somebody from making a purchase. Now, I've always stated, buy what makes you happy, buy what really calls you what you like. But don't think that your decision to buy that watch should influence others to not buy things that you don't like, right? Again, I've said many times, when you look at luxury brands, like Rolex, like Omega, you're paying for the really fine attention to details. Details that really are meaningless, in my opinion, in the real world. When I want to watch, the things that I look for are longevity. Is it going to tell the time accurately within reason, right? We don't want to be, you know, minutes off, right? We don't want to be like 20 minutes off every day. And honestly, most watches, unless you have something that's really, really bad, and when I say bad, I mean something really wrong with it, you're not going to have that problem. I mean, you're just not. Watches are not made to be that inaccurate, right? At the end of the day, watches are meant to be somewhat accurate in telling the time. When I say somewhat accurate, you know, I don't mean to be accurate within, you know, losing plus or minus 10 seconds a month. I mean reasonably accurate, where it's like, what time is it? Oh, it's, you know, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, and it's not like 1:45. You know what I mean? It's not that far off. If it's that far off, there's a problem, right? So, with that being said, remember, this is my personal opinion of this watch, and I want to do this because although this watch isn't 100%, it's a dive style watch. It's a very clean, simple watch. Oh God, we got Amazon coming. I swear to God, every time I go to do a video, we get a delivery. What could this guy be delivering today? I swear to God, I'm not expecting anything. Probably from my neighbor. God. Anyway, I'm just going to continue on with it. So if your doorbell rings, it rings. Hopefully it's my new pedal kit. I'm expecting that. I don't think it is, though. All right, so anyway, back to the video. So this is a very simple watch. It kind of reminds me of one of the Delta T dive watches. Clean, simple, not much to it, right? So let me just show you guys the watch right off the bat. Here is the watch we're going to be talking about today, and this is the Perisher. Now, you might have heard, again, if you've seen this other guy's video, and it's constipated. A lot of times, you know, other YouTubers won't want to mention other channels because you're going to generate views for them. I don't care. That's great. I wish anybody who's doing videos all the success in the world. You put the work in, you get their views, right? But I do encourage you to check out, you know, what he had to say about this watch. I'm not going to link it in the description, but definitely check it out. And you know, if you own this watch, definitely comment. Let me know, you know, your thoughts about this watch. So again, here it is. It's made in. Let's get to the basic stuff first. Then we're going to talk about my opinion. So we have a shark mesh band. You do have some adjustable links on here. I will say a little bit unorthodox, I'll say, is how they link the bands. They're actually using spring bars in between these links. Most of the time they're friction pins on most watches that I've seen, or threaded screws. In this case they use spring bars. Longevity, I don't see that being a problem because they use spring bars on the lugs. So just kind of a different way of doing it, I will say. When I was sizing this, one went bing, flying across the room. So I'll have to replace one spring bar, but I don't really need it. I'm sure I have others floating around. This watch is sized to my 7-inch wrist. I chose the brass version. Now, I'm not sure if the bezel insert is actually genuine brass. It is made of solid 316 stainless steel. That's one of the check boxes that I think most of us look for in a watch, at least for myself. We want that that genuine 316 stainless steel for that longevity, for that corrosion resistance. This watch has it. This is an automatic, which we're going to talk about that as well. 45 millimeter case diameter, 14 millimeters in case thickness, and they mentioned shape round. I don't think that's really necessary to mention. We know it's a round watch, right? And then we have 22 millimeters lug width, so you can find whatever band you want or strap you want to put this on. If you want to change it up, you know, it does come with another strap. I'm going to show you in a second. 2-year international warranty, 50 ATMs of water resistance, and of course 150 grams in weight. So let's get a couple close-ups here. We have, you know, ballast on the back. Again, you can see that beautiful shark mesh. I like the shark mesh bands that I've seen from Ballast and any of the Dartmouth watches that I have had my hands on. Like here's my RGMT, same quality. I will state that I kind of like the shark mesh without these extra links, but they put those in there just, I guess, as a way to kind of forget how I size this one. It's just a different way of sizing it, whereas this other shark mesh has a section of removable stainless steel links. They did it here with just a couple different kind of I-beam, sort of links on each side. I've seen this done before. Nice quality bracelet, comparable, I'd say, to some of your Aragon shark mesh straps. It's great quality. I mean, I've said before, if you watch me over the years, I've always said the Aragon shark mesh is my favorite shark mesh strap. This is almost like they get it from the exact same manufacturer. Not sure if they get it from Aragon or vice versa, or just a bulk manufacturer, but it's a great quality shark mesh, fantastic, right? Done in a brushed finish, so it's not mirror polish or anything like that, just, you know, very, very nice, because you're not going to scratch this, and if you do scratch this, you're not going to see it at all, so pretty cool. You have a dual push button deployment clasp with a fold over lock, have Ballast logo on the back, Ballast logos on the crown face, you know, pretty standard branding. You know, they don't have anything on the sides. Some folks, I swear, you throw one extra branding mark on it and it's like, oh, I gotta buff that off. Like, seriously, just don't buy it, you know, if it bothers you that much. But this doesn't have it. You have a helium release valve, which is automatic on the side, screw down crown, and day of the month. Now, let's talk about the movement to start off with. That's the basics, right? So you have a good quality watch, good materials. Oh, sapphire crystal. That does check the box for many folks, and you guys know my stance on that. If you watch me for a while, I don't think it's really important, but it is a checkbox for many, many watch enthusiasts to have that sapphire. Remember, more scratch resistant with sapphire, less shatter resistant than other types of crystals as you move towards acrylic. Okay, so, I mean, you know, again, for me, unless you're really rough on watches, if you're like me, I don't think you're going to have any problems no matter what you go with. So, what else? All right, so let's talk about the movement. So this is powered by a Swiss automatic movement. Remember, Swiss made does not mean a watch is made in Switzerland. It can, okay? There are brands that do manufacture 100% in Switzerland. I don't believe this is one of these brands that does that, but they do put a Swiss automatic movement. Ballast, most of all the Dartmouth watches that I've seen, they outsource their movements. That's just like Aragon. That's just like Invicta. That's just like a lot of companies out there. They focus on the design, the quality of the watch, and then they outsource. So, so the CL888 Swiss automatic movement is a Swiss-made movement. Now, I'm not gonna. I read too much up on that. I believe this movement does come directly from Switzerland. To me, folks, that is just. You can't, with watches, we can't be living in the past, okay? Just because it's Swiss made does not mean it's superior to Japanese made or Chinese made or anything. Remember, watches have gotten a lot better. We can't compare modern manufacturing with manufacturing in the 80s and 90s. It's a totally different ball game. Things coming out of China, things coming out of Japan are just as good as things coming out of Swiss made. But there is that old thought process of, oh, Swiss made, it means it's high quality, and that's not the case. It doesn't mean it's bad quality, don't get me wrong, but it's not what it was, okay? It's not, I don't mean not what it was as far as the quality's gotten worse. I'm just stating that you don't have to have Swiss made to get good quality nowadays. But for those who are concerned with that, this is a Swiss movement. Now, they do list on here Swiss movement, and I'm glad they did that. Sometimes people, again, get confused where it says Swiss made. They're like, oh, my watch is made in Switzerland. At least with Swiss movement, it just tells you that the movement falls under the criteria to say Swiss made. Okay, I think it's more honest, and I like that. I think even Invicta's been doing that lately as well. Again, it shouldn't matter. So, all right. So, but let's talk about what the other YouTube influencer, It's Constipated, said about this. And I call him It's Constipated. It's complicated. He just stated that why would you want to buy a watch with a old 13-year-old movement, right? And spend the money you spend on it. Now, let's be very clear. When you go to the Ballast website, you're going to see a lot of price differences, right? They do this just like Invicta does this. They have their price on their website, then they have the price you're going to find them on Amazon, then you have other sellers, okay? I've seen the price fluctuate all over the place. So, again, that is being discussed with them. You know, I think that, you know, I'm not there in charge of their marketing. I like when brands are realistic with the prices. I like it more when a watch company says, hey, this is what it cost on our website. This is what it cost on Amazon. This is what it cost. You know, I like that to be consistent. You know, I just think a lot of times the heavily inflated MSRP, which in this case, they don't even put that as an MSRP. They just put that as that's the price. So I'm not sure. Again, that's their marketing tactic, their marketing technique. I just feel like a lot of times if I'm going to refer a watch, I'm not going to refer you to where you're going to spend $800 for it if I know you can get it on Amazon for less. Now, I haven't checked this one on Amazon yet. I wanted to just do the review about the watch. By the time you guys watch this video, there will be links in the description. Check them out. If you're interested, see where you get the best deal and buy it from where you feel most comfortable. It is available in a couple different colors, which I will, let me come back to that. I want to talk about the movement. And this, again, when somebody watches another YouTube influencer or another watch reviewer, they say, oh, I shouldn't buy a watch with a 13-year-old movement. But yet these same folks will make the argument that it's okay to buy a pre-owned 20-year-old Rolex, and somehow that's okay. They always seem to rationalize their buying decisions or rationalize brands that they like and why it's okay for you to go ahead and want to buy a movement that's 20, 30 years old, and that's all right, but then yet this watch uses a discontinued movement, and somehow that you shouldn't buy it. Somehow that's deceptive. Somehow that's you're getting something that's inferior quality. That's not the case. Just because Ballast decided to say, hey, we're going to use a CL888 Swiss automatic movement, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. Movements are made, movements come and go, they make improvements, they make changes. A lot of movements just don't sell, right? Sometimes companies have inventory. Maybe they've changed something, they moved on to something else. It doesn't mean that the movement's bad. Look at the NH35. It's been around forever. They're still using it in watches. So if tomorrow they discontinued the NH35, right, and maybe they called it the the NI35, and now you had a bunch of old stock NH35s laying around that companies are still using, are we going to go ahead and make the argument that, oh, well, you don't want to buy that because that's an old discontinued movement? It's still a fantastic movement, so it's irrelevant how old the movement is, as long as it's a good movement, and this is a good movement. I encourage you to check out, read about the CL888 automatic movement and make your own decision on whether you think that's a... Don't let the age of the movement or the fact that it's discontinued dissuade you from making a purchase on something that's a really great watch, right? So ridiculous. You know, in his video, he also stated, and I just want to, this is another reason to discredit people like this. You know, and again, this is about the watch, but I did mention to the company that I saw this video, and I requested this specifically because his video makes it seem like you shouldn't buy this watch. And I'm here to tell you, you should buy this watch. If you see this watch and you like it, and you say, oh, I like the Ballast Parachute, I'm really interested in it, you know, I'm all hot for it, and then you go, you check it out, you're shopping it, and then you go to YouTube and you say, oh, let me see if anybody's reviewed it, see what they have to say. You're going to be disappointed to see that video because it makes the watch seem like it's suspect. You shouldn't buy it. Now, you also mentioned that there's a problem with oh, it's limited edition, but you can buy it. Now, I don't know what the point of that is. There's lots of limited edition watches. It's almost like he was like insinuating that they claim they're limited edition and they're not. They're still making them. So I'm not sure where that evidence comes from, where that proof comes from. Just because a company has a limited edition of watches and they're readily available doesn't mean that there's anything suspect going on. Companies make watches all the time, and sometimes they do really well, and at times they don't. Sometimes they just don't sell. Now, I don't know where the sales are on this watch, but obviously they are still available. And if this is a watch that came out, I don't know exactly when this watch came out, but if it did and they're just not moving, you know, it's a lot of watches are expensive. No matter, you know, if you're going to anything over $300, even at $200, everybody's got a different budget. Again, my point is we can't figure out exactly why these are limited edition and why they're still available. It just is what it is. And I don't think Ballast is claiming they're limited edition. I don't think that there are, let's see here, what do we got? Number 118 of 200. I don't think there's another dude out there with number 118. And by all means, if you have number 118, let me just double check that. You have number 118 and, yeah, 118. God, it's hard to see. If you have number 118 and I have number 118, then please drop me a comment. Let me know. Let me see this evidence so we can, you know, the Ballast would need to change that behavior, right? But that's not, I don't believe that's the case. I just think that these watches are just not selling for whatever reason. Could be the price point, could be, you know, could be availability in different places, you know. Maybe Ballast the only one that has it on their site. Maybe the price is not, you know, I guess competitive enough for people to spend the money on it. Who knows? But time will tell, and companies learn and companies change and adapt. And I've seen, what I've noticed with a lot of the, at least the Nubeo watches, is I've seen them, you know, in the $1,000 price range on their website. I've seen them at one price on Amazon, and then I see places like Shop HQ and what was the other one? Another, I forget the name of the company. Another company selling for in the twos. So again, that's between me, my discussion with them, and of course their marketing department on how they want to price their watches. You know, Invicta does the same thing. You go to the Invicta website, they have a huge price on them, and I think a lot of times they'll put that price in there, see, hey, you know, let's release it, see if anybody bites, and then once maybe they have them, they say, all right, well, we're not selling that many based on sales, then they'll go ahead and alter the price for other resellers, and then they just don't alter the price on their website because maybe they want to give the resellers the opportunity to move their volume. Again, it's not deceptive, that's business. That's how the world works. Companies, resellers, they all have agreements. And, you know, or again, don't blame other people for what you want to buy. If you want to buy a watch and you like it and you like the price point, then buy it. If you buy a watch at a high price point and then you see it on sale, that happens sometimes. You know, there's plenty of Invicta watches I bought that I'm like, ooh, this is going to sell out. I'll pay, you know, $300-400 for it. And then next thing you know, it goes on special on Yellow Tag somewhere or on Invicta stores for like $190. And I'm like, shoot, I should have waited, right? But again, you just never know if something's going to sell out. So again, always be a smart shopper. Don't put blame on others. Do the research. If you like a product and it speaks to you and you think it's a good value for you, then get it. Okay, but you don't let some YouTube influencer, myself included, dissuade you, you know, from buying something. I hope to persuade you because I'm giving you an honest evaluation of this watch. But if you see this watch and you're like, you know what, Fat Cat, you know, I like this Aragon better. I like this Movado's Bulva. I like the Rolex better. Well, then by all means, buy what ultimately makes you happy. My job is to share this stuff with you, me to wear this stuff for myself and really enjoy it. And then again, remember, I have a lot of subscribers who, one dude messaged me a day, just bought a Nubeo. He saw a Nubeo. He was an Invicta guy. Doesn't mean he's still not an Invicta guy, but now he's got a new brand to kind of have some fun with. So just remember, take responsibility for your own actions, buy what ultimately makes you happy. But overall, I mean, build quality, just fantastic. Let's get back to the color choices. I'm just gonna stop with the discussion on the other YouTube influencer, and we're just gonna stick to the watch for now. I do want to state though, just to put people's credibility in question, in this video he said, oh, the band is fantastic on this, and I can tell you right now that he's reviewed other watches that I know that have the band quality of this, and he's, you know, will never say that based on if it's a brand he doesn't like. So remember, complete fake news, false information. This is a great quality watch, and if it speaks to you, then buy it. You know, if I can help you in any way, let me know. Drop me a comment, drop me an email. I'm always here to help answer questions. Now, if you don't like the brass color, they do have a couple different color options. Again, it's going to be based on availability. They have kind of an aqua bezel with a blue face. They have the black tide, which is all black on black, like a matte finish black. They have, the one I did request was the gray olive. They didn't have that in stock. Then a walnut. So again, link in the description. You can check out the different colors. Let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about the box now. So normally we do the unboxing first, but I wanted to show you guys the watch first. So there it is here. It is marked on the back, number 118 of 200. Classic slide box I've seen on many Ballast watches. You have the Ballast logo right on the hood. Pop that baby open. Nothing really over the top here. You have your kind of rubberized microfiber insert here. You know, kind of a Ballast logo. This is kind of meant to look like maybe an instrument panel to a submarine or a battleship. They do give you the push bar remover, or the spring tool, I should say. A couple extra links, which I've removed already. And this is the other strap they give you. Oh, let me just kind of pop this out here. And one of the, I guess I lied to you guys. I am going to say one more thing about that other review. He was stating that, oh, well, it's not genuine leather, you know. There's lots of watches that don't come with genuine leather. This strap here is a combination of like a nylon and kind of like a, I don't know if that's like a vinyl or like a faux leather, but that doesn't mean that they are being deceptive. It doesn't mean that they, you know, just because you think a watch should come with leather doesn't mean they think it should. So again, you can't make that, you know, again, it's always these guys who want to rationalize, you know, we could make that argument with other things too. It's like, oh, well, for that price, you should get leather. Well, you know, to me, for $20,000, you should get more than 904 stainless steel. So, you know, with a Rolex. So again, guys will always rationalize. You know, when I look at an older Seiko, for instance, like a Captain Willard, to me, you know, spending several $1,000s on a watch that's 25 years old, to me, you should get more for your money. So again, that's subjective, that's not objective. Yes, it's not leather, but that doesn't mean it's inferior. There's lots of new space-age, man-made materials that are just as durable as leather. Would leather be nice? I mean, for the price point, you know, I mean, sure, leather is great. I mean, so is alligator, so is, you know, stingray, but this is what they chose to give you. If you don't like it, then you don't buy it, right? Now for me, what's important is that they give you the shark mesh, and that's what I would wear this on. I'm a bracelet guy. So, you know, the fact that it comes, this is great. I will never really put it on this because this isn't my style. If I wanted to put it on something, you have a 22mm lug width, which you could find thousands upon thousands of different straps that are more to your liking. This is more of like, I would say more of like a modern, more like a military style strap. You know, I mean, the watch kind of, what I'm trying to think, like a lot of your nylon straps, your NATO straps, kind of like a modern NATO strap. You know, I'm not probably using the wrong terminology for it, but hey, that's how it works. You know, the watch basically sits within the Velcros here, and it's, you know, look, Omega's doing it on their brand new line, you know what I mean? And that's a plastic watch. They're charging $300. Some of those watches are going for thousands of dollars on eBay because there's a frenzy for them. So why can't we rationalize, you know, Omega strap not being real leather, but we can't, not for Ballast, right? Just nonsense. People will always rationalize what they like, what they believe in, and dissuade or put down something that, you know, is not. If this was an Omega and it had this, or a Rolex did, and a more affordable option that came with this, they'd be like, oh, this is fantastic. So again, just complete nonsense. But overall, the watch is great quality. Again, you're checking all the boxes when it comes to quality in a watch. The only thing you have to decide is what you're going to pay for it and where you're going to buy it from. And I think as time goes on with this brand, as I see deals, as I see them pop up with different. I was trying to think of the other website I saw them on, but I just can't remember. One of my subscribers bought one. Again, it was the Nubeo, and you get a great deal on it. So whatever I find, I'll put the links in the description. But definitely a great looking watch, very clean, very simple. Now, the only thing I will say about Ballast is because they are a nautical themed or a naval themed watch company, the Perisher, I don't know if they have. Let me just read. A lot of times they have a story about this. And all they say about this, the Perisher is one to claim for your own watch collection with strong build, sophisticated design, Swiss automatic movement. It's an absolute must-have timepiece. So I don't see any kind of ship-themed, I guess, reference here. This might be just one that they've, just made a basic, simple. Maybe it was one of the earlier Ballast watches. Not really sure, but just a very simple, clean dive watch. And I like the brass. I think that was I did like the olive color, which is more of like a gray. And a lot of times when I choose a color, it's just because I don't have anything quite like it. So brass, I'm always a sucker for brass and bronze, different kind of materials. But this is a great looking watch. I mean, anybody who saw this watch would definitely appreciate its build quality. And like I said, anything that I've received so far under the Dartmouth brand, I've been impressed with. And the quality seems to be very consistent. With Invicta even, a lot of times you'll see, even in Aragon, you have their kind of entry-level watches where that quality is not the same as reserve level, or even pro diver level. So it gets a little confusing. A lot of times with Invicta, you just really have to have the experience to know what you're buying. Like just an example off the top of my head, when you look at one of the entry-level Angel watches I reviewed for one of my coworkers, there's a huge difference in quality between that and like your Pro Diver and then your reserve level pieces. So at least with Ballast, you're getting the same quality across every watch that I've seen. Same thing with Nubeo, same thing with RGMT. So let me just cut this I say short, 26 minutes. Let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. That's what you guys like to see. I'm about 5'7.5", weigh about 182 pounds as of today, and I have a 7-inch wrist. So this is what it looks like. I got my size, my height, and my weight. Clean, simple, great microband style dive watch. Definitely one for the collection. And I think that anybody who's looking for something very simple, I kind of consider this almost like it has a very vintage feel to it. It's classy. I like it. Definitely a good looking watch. Not too big, not too small. Definitely a watch that has a nice wrist presence without being over the top. It is very simple. I don't think this is a watch that you're going to wear and people are going to be like, whoa, that's really, when you look at a watch like this RGMT, it's a unique design. You know what I mean? It's definitely a little bit more. I think it's gonna get noticed a little bit more. This, it's more basic, it's more simple. This is a watch you wear almost like to be a little bit discreet. This is definitely a watch that I will this summer put to the test. Doing my boating, my crabbing, getting this out in the water, see how she holds up. I don't anticipate any problems. You can just feel the build quality. It's there. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, drop me a comment, drop me an email. I'm always here to help. If you own this watch, by all means, drop a comment. I love when you guys share your stories with these companies. And as always, guys, have a great day and take care.